her purse was made of imitation leather. The leather has been treated with wax. The sofa is made from genuine leather. She often wears leather. He wants a new leather belt. She bought leather furniture. She is looking for a sofa in black leather. She has a purse made of genuine leather. Load. Something heavy that is carried. She has a heavy load of laundry to do. The maximum load for the elevator is 1,500 pounds. The truck hauls loads of produce to the market. The small car couldn't handle the passenger load. We need to spread the load. He tries to drop his load on other workers. The shelf broke from the heavy load.
Load. To put something large or heavy in or on another place. To put bullets into a gun. We loaded the truck with boxes. He loaded the gun and ran outside. It's my turn to load the dishwasher.
Loose. Not firmly or tightly fixed in place. Not held or tied together. The door handle is loose. The screw became loose. She let her hair fall loose down her back. The dog broke loose from the yard. He let the animals loose. The rope felt slightly loose. My son has a loose tooth. I need to tighten the loose ends. She can't keep a secret. She has loose lips. I like her hair in a loose ponytail. She wears very loose clothes. Do you have any loose change? One of the side effects is loose stools.
Male, relating to the sex that cannot produce babies. He hoped to have a male heir. We are studying the male anatomy in biology class. I'm taking a male companion to the party. The male employees are getting paid more than the female. I have a male doctor. The movie cast is entirely male. I work in a very male environment.
Male. A male person or animal. A man. There are young males in the Army. We need more after-school programs for adolescent males. The dog is an alpha male.
Menu. A list of food choices at a restaurant. I haven't looked at the menu yet. I just opened the menu. The menu changes daily. He studied the menu carefully. I don't have a menu yet. The menu features seasonal fruit. Choose from the lunch menu. I can't see the menu board. Menu choices are limited. Would you like the dinner menu? We have a full menu. There is a limited menu. Can we see the dessert menu? What's on the menu today?
Mine. An underground natural source of precious minerals. An underground explosive. They work in a mine. The mine produces an enormous amount of minerals. The mine went off unexpectedly. Our truck hit a mine. They carefully removed the mines. The soldiers detected an active mine. He works in a diamond mine. They were trapped in a deep mine. He set off a landmine. The workers were stuck in a mine shaft for hours. They found gold in the mine.
Mine.
to dig holes in the ground to search for precious minerals. They are mining gold.
Mirror. A piece of glass that reflects an image that is put in front of it. A mirror hangs in the hallway. I checked the mirror on the way out. She looked into the mirror. I use a pocket mirror at work. I hate to face a mirror. The mirror revealed many wrinkles. The mirror broke into a million pieces. She saw a mirror image of herself. I used a full-length mirror. I looked in the bathroom mirror. She hung an ornate mirror in her foyer. She threw away the broken mirror. Take a good look in the mirror.
Moreover, in addition to what has already been said, also, smoking gives you bad breath. Moreover, it is harmful to your health. Diet and exercise will help you lose weight, and moreover, it is good for your health.
Doors to open.
Community. A community is a group of people who live together.
The kids from my community usually play together.
Dead. To be dead is to not be alive.
A dead person is usually buried in the ground.
Distance. The distance between two things is how far it is between them.
The distance between the Earth and the Moon is 384,400 kilometers.
Think back. Where were you? Who were you with? What time was it? Can you smell anything? Taste anything? Why do you think you remember this event so well?
Memory is strange. Sometimes a person might remember something that is extremely important to them. At other times, she may remember a fact that does not matter at all. It may be difficult to learn something she wants to remember, like an English vocabulary word. But this does not always have to be the case. There are actually special methods that you can use to improve your memory. Today's spotlight is on how to use your memory short time. Experts say you can store 4 sets of information in your short-term memory at the same time. Information in short-term memory will last about 20 to 30 seconds or less. Then it disappears.
The second kind of memory is long-term memory. Long-term memory is what people usually think of when they say they have memorized something. Memories in the long-term memory stay. A person can remember them again and again. These are memories like the names of people you know, how to do a task, or memories from a special event from a long time ago.
The trick of remembering is moving information from short-term to long-term memory. No one knows exactly how this happens.
Mental athlete. She competes with others to remember long lists of numbers or words. She wrote about the Memory Palace technique for lifehacker.com.
I think we should explore a few solutions.
Grammarly suggestions can. For everyday use, the Memory Palace is helpful for remembering a list of things. Start number enters the long-term memory.
There are many more mnemonic devices, but most memory methods.
Love at first sight is common in films and stories. Some people say it can even happen in real life. But can it? Is love at first sight real love? What makes people want to have a relationship with a particular person? Today's spotlight is on the science of falling in love. What makes us feel closeness with other people?
Falling in love can seem mysterious. Strong feelings develop, sometimes quickly. But why? Scientists and experts study love and attraction, that feeling that you want to be closer to another person. They study changes in a person's body when that person feels love.
One thing that scientists measure is hormone levels. Hormones are substances in the body that affect behavior and emotions. Scientists found particular hormones in a person who is falling in love. These give people more energy and make them feel happy. Other studies show that over time, different hormones also appear. These give people a sense of happiness and closeness through many years of a loving relationship.
There are many complex reasons why and how we fall in love. Like Jack and Rose in Titanic, some people experience love at first sight. They do not choose to feel attraction. But what if there was a scientific way to make any two people have a closer relationship with each other?
Dr. Arthur Aaron performed a study to test this question. Aaron studies relationships between people. He wanted to see if he could scientifically make people feel an emotional connection with another person. Dr. Aaron created a list of 36 questions. He designed the questions in a special way. He made them to create a sense of closeness between the people asking them. Dr. Aaron chose 2 people at a time for the experiment. They did not know each other. The 2 people sat together in a room. They took turns asking and answering Dr. Aaron's 36 questions. Here are some of the questions they asked.
When did you last sing To yourself. When did you last sing to someone else?
Name 3 things you and the person you are talking to appear to have in common.
It's the Petronas Twin Tower in Malaysia.
Where is it located?
It's located in the capital of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur.
How tall is it?
They were the tallest buildings in the world from 1998 to 2004. It reaches the height of 451.9 meters.
Who was the architect?
Cesar Pelli, an Argentine-American architect.
Is it well known all of...
Neck. The part of the body that connects the head to the shoulders. Will you rub my neck? She craned her neck to see. The murderer strangled the victim's neck. He broke his neck after falling off the
30s.
horse.
Chicago was a
I have
minor
neck
training
pain
post.
in the mornings. She is having surgery for a neck injury. He strained his neck muscle. She has a long neck. The shirt has an open neck. She wore a scarf around her neck.
Penalty. Punishment for breaking the law, rule, or contract. He received a harsh penalty for violating his parole. The restaurant received the maximum penalty for violating the health code. Some people are against the death penalty. He is paying the ultimate penalty for drunk driving. The credit card company imposed a strict penalty for late payments. The judge handed down a harsh penalty for lying on the stand. She faced a penalty for breaking her contract. The prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Mortgage companies are increasing their penalties for late payments. The cable company reduced the penalty for breaking the contract. She is paying the penalty for her delinquent children. He received a penalty fee for breaking his contract. He received a harsh penalty for failing to show up in court. The judge imposed stricter penalties on drunk drivers.
Pension. An amount of money a company or the government pays on a regular basis to someone who has retired. He receives a decent pension for all of his years of hard work. She receives an employee pension. He receives a monthly pension. He receives a pension from his former company. His pension arrives every month. Many retired people live off their pensions. Many companies do not offer pension benefits anymore. Her pension payments are deposited directly into her bank account. My grandfather lives on a pension.
Piano. A large musical instrument with a keyboard that makes sounds. Do you know how to play the piano? He is a famous piano player. She wrote most of the piano music. We need a piano tuner. We sat at the piano bar. She sat on a piano stool. She pressed the piano keys. There is a grand piano in my living room. My daughter plays with her toy piano. I can play this song on the piano. He is sitting at the piano ready for his recital.
Plate. A wide flat dish for food. A flat metal object with writing on it. You can get dessert after you finish your plate. May I take your plate? We use glass plates. I bought a set of dinner plates. There were dirty plates on the table. The door has a nameplate. I renewed my license plate. There was nothing left on her plate. I ate a plate of cheese and crackers.
Pleasant, enjoyable, likable. She seems pleasant. The weather feels pleasant today. I found him quite pleasant. We had an extremely pleasant time. She is quite pleasant. She is always pleasant to people. We had a pleasant evening.
Pleased, satisfied, happy. She looks pleased. I am very pleased with your work. He was especially pleased to see her. I am always pleased to see you. Are you pleased with the service? I was pleased about the situation. She was pleased at the way it turned out. Potato, a vegetable with brown, yellow, or red skin that grows in the ground. I brought potato salad to the picnic. I put everything into a potato sack. I need a new potato peeler. We are having mashed potatoes for dinner. Do you eat potatoes? I have to peel 20 potatoes. Do you bake your potatoes? How do you cook your potatoes?
Profession. An occupation that usually requires special training or education. I went back to school to learn a new profession. They practiced the same profession. I decided to change my profession. I thought about going into the medical profession. Teaching is a good profession. Medicine is my chosen profession. She is a lawyer by profession. She went into the medical profession. There is a lot of competition in my profession.
Professor, a teacher at a college or university. I want to be a math professor. She is a university professor. He is a professor of Japanese literature. She is a professor at a prestigious college. Our professor gives lectures 3 times a week. My professor grades strictly on test performance and not homework assignments. Our professor does not teach out of a textbook. My professor graduated from Harvard. Prompt. To cause something to happen. Her behavior prompted allegations of abuse. His actions prompted an outcry. The evidence prompted a trial. Her involvement was Employees are not happy with the proposed changes to the company's policies. The company is reviewing the proposed budget for the new year. Congress has a long list of proposed amendments. What is the final proposed date of the project? The proposed regulations are under review.
Purple, having the color when mixing red and blue. Her dress was light purple. The dress is slightly purple. I painted the house a purple color. She has a purple birthmark. She likes purple grapes.
Pursue. To try to achieve something. To follow or chase someone or something. I wish to pursue my education. The tiger pursued its prey. I am pursuing a degree in engineering. She is pursuing her goals. I don't want to pursue the matter. The detectives are pursuing the case. The cops relentlessly pursued the car. He is still pursuing his dream. She successfully pursued a career in journalism.
Quantity. The amount of something. We ordered a large quantity of fine wine. The bag holds a small quantity of candy. The store has a limited quantity of the new product. What is the maximum quantity we can order? We have a large quantity of fish. We buy household products in quantity.
Quiet. Silence. The quiet was shattered by the crash. I look forward to periods of relative quiet. There was a sudden quiet in the house.
Quiet. To make silent. I tried to quiet my mind.
Quiet. Silent, without noise or sound. She is very quiet right now. The room fell quiet. We kept quiet about the surprise party. It seemed quiet in the neighborhood. We live in a quiet suburb. Let's have a moment of quiet reflection. It has been a quiet evening. He is a quiet man. He lives a quiet existence. She spoke in a quiet voice. Her daughter is very quiet. The room was oddly quiet. Be quiet about what happened. Reaction. A particular response after something happens. A physical response to a particular food or substance. I can't get a reaction from him. We couldn't gauge her reaction. His speech provoked a strong reaction. The peanut butter caused an allergic reaction. I had a strong reaction to the drink. Her reaction time is slow. He had an allergic reaction to seafood. Her reaction was unexpected. What was your initial reaction? There was positive reaction to the announcement. What was the public reaction over the scandal? She cried in reaction to the news. The reaction to our film was great. That was just a reaction against her.
Refuse. Refuse. To say no to something. I could not refuse him. You have the right to refuse. I didn't dare refuse her. The judge refused to grant parole. They were refused access to the park. She refused my invitation. My application was refused. He simply refused to help. She politely refused another serving. He always refuses to come over. Regret. To feel bad about something. I came to regret it. She seemed to regret her decision. We regretted our decision. He never regretted his decision.
Regret. The feeling of sadness or disappointment for something you did or did not do. She showed no regret. I feel no regret over my decision. I have sincere regrets in my life. I have regret for the decision I made. She lives without regret.
Remaining. Left over. He ate the remaining portion. She is the remaining survivor. Calculate the remaining amount. We paid the remaining balance on the account. How many remaining episodes are there? What is the remaining time on the clock?
Requirement. Something that is needed. She did not meet the requirements. What are your graduation requirements? We have several important requirements. The job has specific requirements. There are many necessary for this position. I haven't fulfilled the main requirements. What are the current requirements for college? What are the requirements for graduation? Reveal. To show. To uncover. To tell. The experiment revealed the answers he was looking for. The test revealed the positive results. He revealed his identity to me. He finally revealed the truth to us. The article revealed what happened. The autopsy revealed that he died of a seizure. He revealed my secret.
Ruin. Destroyed structure. Financial loss. The city has fallen into ruin. The arena lies in ruins. The tornado left the city in ruins. The family was saved from ruin. The business faces financial ruin because of the investigation. We found the ancient ruins of the city. The city is in complete ruin. They are facing financial ruin. We are studying the ancient ruins of Egypt.
Ruin. To spoil. To completely damage. Don't ruin your appetite. You're ruining the mood. The scandal nearly ruined my career. The investigation financially ruined my company. I am going to ruin your life. He threatened to ruin my career.
Rush. To hurry. To move very fast. The blood rushed to my cheeks. The water rushed out of the dam. Air rushed out of the vent. The crowd rushed into the stores. I rushed downstairs right away. We quickly rushed to the hospital. He was suddenly rushed to the emergency room. He rushed into the house.
Rush. Quick movement. A busy time. He regrets his rush decision. She did a rush job on the essay and got a low grade. I hate driving during rush hour. I felt a sudden rush of anger come over me. I got a sugar rush after I ate ice cream. Skydiving gives me an adrenaline rush. There was a mad rush for the door when they saw the smoke. I tried to avoid the last-minute rush of holiday shopping. She felt a rush of anger when she heard the decision. Try to avoid the rush of holiday shoppers. We are in a rush, so please hurry. There was a last-minute rush for changes. I felt a rush of blood to my face.
Salad. A mixture of raw vegetables or fruits. This afternoon's salad was delicious. He prepared a salad for lunch. The salad comes with dressing on the side. I always ask for the salad dressing on the side. Please pass the salad bowl. I use a salad spinner to dry my lettuce. The salad bar has many options.
Sexual. Involving sex. We will not allow sexual activity on campus. He was accused of sexual abuse. The latest generation is experimenting with sexual freedom. He had a sexual affair with his secretary. They have a lot of sexual chemistry between them. The movie has some sexual situations. A person's sexual orientation is a private matter. We are learning sexual reproduction in biology class.
Shake. A short, quick movement either up and down or side to side. Give the rug a good shake outside. She gave him a firm shake to wake him up. You have a good handshake. She gave him a gentle shake to wake him from his nap. He woke her with a shake.
Shake. To move with short, quick movements either up and down or side to side. To hold someone's hand as a form of greeting. The scared puppy was shaking badly. I was so nervous that I was almost shaking. My hands were shaking nervously during my speech. The earth shook suddenly. Shake well before opening. They firmly shook hands. My body was shaking from the cold. She was shaking with anger. He was shaking his head at them. The news shook her confidence. He shook the dirt off his jacket. He shook his head at them. They shook hands before the meeting.
Shift. A change in place or position, a particular time of work. There has been a major shift in the economy. We noticed a slight shift in the opinion polls. The military made a sudden shift in position. She works a double shift every weekend. He hardly sees his children because he works the early shift. I prefer to work the evening shift. The protest represents a dramatic shift in attitude toward the war. The new president can bring about an economic shift. The climate shift occurred gradually. She starts her shift early in the morning. He works the night shift. She made arrangements with the shift supervisor. He asked for a shift change. There was a shift in direction. I noticed a gradual shift toward hiring part-time employees.
Shift. To move to a different place or position. The two boys tried to shift the blame onto someone else. Music tends to shift with a new generation. The students' attitudes began to shift after tuition prices increased. Julie shifted uncomfortably in her seat. He gradually shifted the responsibility onto other people. The public attitude has shifted away from raising taxes. They shifted the blame onto someone else. My attention shifted to the next table. The car shifted into second gear. I shifted my attention to the other table. He tried to shift his responsibility onto others. She started to shift her balance between her feet.
Shine. To make a bright light. The sun shines brightly through the window. There was a small light shining faintly from the other room. The dentist made her teeth shine. The policeman was shining his flashlight at us. A bright light shines from the lighthouse. Her face was shining in the moonlight. Look at how the light shines on his face. The lamp was shining in the background. He shined the flashlight on us.
Ship. A large boat. We saw a large cargo ship. They were on a large military ship. The crew worked hard on the small ship. Everybody boarded the ship. The crew sailed the large ship. The captain abandoned his own ship. The rescue ship carried the passengers back to shore. The ship capsized far from shore. The items were sent by ship.
Ship. To send something by ship. To mail out an order. We shipped our car to South America. The company shipped the merchandise overnight. The package was shipped quickly. The package was shipped quickly to us. The fragile item was shipped safely. The package was shipped by air. Please ship the order with the invoice.
Sister. A female sibling. She is my older sister. Do you have a twin sister? This is my annoying sister. I can't wait to see my beloved sister. Kate and Jane are sorority sisters. She looks like my sister. She is my sister. I have 3 sisters. Skirt. A piece of clothing for females that hangs from the waist. She's wearing a long skirt. I'm looking for my denim skirt. You'll have to hike up your skirt to ride this bike. She pulled down her skirt. The skirt billowed in the wind. This skirt is always riding up. That is not an appropriate skirt length for school. Slice. To cut something into pieces. She sliced the roast beef thinly. The knife sliced through the tomatoes cleanly. First, slice up the onions. The sharp knife sliced through the watermelon. She sliced the fat off from the meat.
Slice. A thin piece cut off from a bigger part of something. A thin piece cut off from a bigger part of something. She gave me a large slice of pizza. He prepared some thin slices of cheese. She offered him a generous slice of pie. He cut a thin slice of bread. He ate 5 slices of pizza. My father carved thin slices of turkey for sandwiches. I was craving a slice of cake.
Snow. To fall from the sky as snow. It's been snowing heavily all day. It looks like it's beginning to snow outside. The kids were happy to see that it snowed overnight. It began snowing last night.
Snow. Small white flakes of frozen water that fall from the sky in very cold weather. The trees were covered in thick snow. It's really hard to walk on frozen snow. The children were playing in the melting snow. We celebrated the first snow of the winter. The ski resort had to use artificial snow for skiing. Our cars were completely covered in snow. I told my son to shovel the snow. All the snow started to melt when the sun came out. We are expecting snow tomorrow. Southern California never gets snow. I walked through the snow in the mountain. The snow is coming down hard. We've had snow flurries all day. The snow conditions were excellent for skiing. He used a snow shovel to clear the way. You need snow chains to go up the mountain. We walked across the snow to their house. The children loved playing in the snow. We hiked through the heavy snow. Our cars were buried under the snow.
Specialist. A person who has special knowledge and skill relating to a particular job or an area of study. We are on the waiting list to see the leading cancer specialist in the country. She made an appointment to see an eye specialist. I am looking for an experienced marketing specialist. He is training to be a communications specialist. The company hired a computer specialist. She went to see a finance specialist. She is a specialist in mental health. He is a specialist on fertility issues.
Specify. To give clear details. The plan doesn't clearly specify the actual cost. She correctly specified all the details in the report. Unless specified otherwise, the speed limit is 35 miles per hour. He was required to specify the details of the accident. Please specify the color in the correct field. The lawyer needs to specify the terms of the contract. He didn't specify the details of the report. The doctor would not specify the condition of the patient to non-family members.
Steal. To take something from someone without asking. To take something from a store without paying. The thief steals people's belongings. He stole my idea. My sister is always stealing my clothes. The boss doesn't know that his employees frequently steal from the cash register. She has never stolen anything in her life.
Steal. Something sold at a very low price. It was so cheap, it was a steal. What a steal! I barely paid anything. That's a steal. It is practically a steal.
Stroke. To rub gently in one direction. He gently stroked her hand. She softly stroked away his hair. She gently stroked her baby's back to put her to sleep. He tenderly stroked his wife's face. She stroked her husband's hair while he lay sleeping.
Stroke. A repeated movement with the arm. A serious illness when a blood vessel bursts in the brain. The artist paints with long strokes. The tennis player has a strong forehand stroke. The swimmer needs to work on her downward stroke. He had a massive stroke last month. How many strokes can you do? She had a major stroke and became paralyzed on one side of her body. The stroke left him unable to walk. My grandmother is a stroke survivor. He took a stroke prevention seminar.
Strongly. In a powerful way. In a firm way. It was strongly apparent that she was not going to leave him. She is strongly attached to her house. I am strongly committed to my marriage. He is strongly motivated to sell his house. She is strongly opposed to closing the business. I strongly advise you to get a lawyer. I strongly agree with your decision. I strongly disagree with your decision. He strongly defended his wife. I strongly encourage you to go to college. She strongly feels she made the right choice. He strongly suspects his wife is having an affair.
Suck. To pull in liquid or air using the muscles of your mouth. To take liquid or air out of something. The child was loudly sucking the lollipop. She likes to suck out the juice of a lemon. The machine sucked up the water from the floor. The baby sucked on her bottle. He was sucking up milk through a straw.
Sudden. Happening very quickly or without warning. He cannot control his sudden anger. We were not ready for this sudden change in weather. His sudden death shocked everyone. Why do you have a sudden interest in golf? There was a sudden pain in my side. People were wondering about his sudden departure. I had a sudden urge to see my ex-girlfriend. They were not prepared for the army's sudden attack. Her decision was very sudden.
Supermarket. A big store that sells food, drinks, and other household items. Some things are only sold at major supermarkets. We try to shop at our local supermarket. The supermarket giant forced small markets to close. Sale items are displayed in front of supermarket aisles. The supermarket clerk is very friendly. Supermarket brands are cheaper than name brand items.
Surround. To be on every side of something or someone. The building was completely surrounded by police. The house is almost surrounded by trees. The lake partially surrounds the cabin. The dogs quickly surrounded the jogger. The house was surrounded by trees.
Surround. A border or an area around the edge of something. We watch movies at home in surround sound. The large surround of the castle is decorated with beautiful flowers. We installed a tile surround for our shower. We built a new fireplace surround in our living room.
Switch. To change from one thing to another. To change something with another thing. To turn an electric device on or off. He asked to quickly switch seats with me. She simply switched places with him. The machine automatically switched off. They switched back to their original long-distance carrier. They switched their furniture around every 6 months. She decided to switch places with her friend. Would you switch places with me? He switched from first to second gear. She switched to a different dress. He keeps switching back and forth between 2 sports channels.
Switch. A change from one thing to another. Something pressed or moved to turn an electric device on or off. Where is the master switch? There should be an electric switch to turn off the machine. Press the on switch. Please turn on the light switch. She made a sudden switch with the costumes. He made a big switch in careers. They made a complete switch to another cable company. Turn on the switch. This switch controls all of the lights in the house. He made a switch to another phone company. That is the switch for the hall light. The alarm is set on a timer switch. She made a switch from the morning to evening shift. She made a switch back to the morning shift. There was a switch between actors.
Terrible. Very bad. He looks terrible. The movie is terrible. I have a terrible cold. I feel truly terrible about what happened. The accident was absolutely terrible. I feel terrible for the victims. That was a terrible accident.
Pace. A step. The rate of speed of something moving. She is working at a great pace. She walks at a smooth pace. The people at the office work at a very fast pace. He walks at a fast pace. Please step 3 paces forward. We need to increase the pace at work. He set the pace for the marathon. He could not keep up the pace with his older brother. Please slow your pace so that others can catch up. The kids walked a couple of paces behind their camp leader. We walked a few paces ahead of the hikers. We were just a few paces from the campsite. They are working at a fast pace.
Pace. To walk back and forth in the same area. To set the speed of something. He slowly paced back and forth in the hospital waiting room. She nervously paced up and down the hall. He carefully paced himself so he would not make any errors. He paced around the room over and over again. Panic. A state of fear and confusion. Press the panic button if you need help. I usually have a panic attack when hosting a big party. He suffers from panic disorders. We installed a panic room just in case of emergencies. He went into panic mode when the caterers didn't show up for the wedding. In the days leading up to the performance, there was a sense of mounting panic. The country was in a state of widespread panic. She went into sheer panic when she couldn't find her son. The virus caused sheer panic among the city. He felt total panic when he lost the engagement ring. She was filled with panic before going on stage. Panic is rising in the community over the killer disease. She looked around in panic for a place to hide. She froze with panic when she saw the robber in her house. There is nationwide panic about a flu epidemic. There was panic among the community.
Peak. Being at the highest or best at the top. Busiest. Apples should be picked during peak season. Try to avoid peak hours. He gave his peak performance at the last Olympic Games.
Peak. The highest or best level, the top. The hikers reached the jagged peak of the mountain. The snowy peaks of the mountains are beautiful. We could see the distant peak of Mount St. Helens. The mountain peaks were covered with snow. Prices increased during the seasonal peaks at the hotel. There was a sharp peak in housing prices a few years ago. Hikers climbed to the peak of the mountain. Sales reached its peak during the winter months. She is at the peak of her career. Car sales were at its peak last month.
Perception. The way someone notices or understands things. It is a common perception that smoking is bad for you. You have the wrong perception of her. The growing perception of the company is not good. Elderly people have poor depth perception. Parents have a positive perception of the school. The overall perception of the teacher was good. They had a bad perception of you. The mayor tried to improve the perception of his city. Your behavior shapes people's perception of you. Furniture rearrangement can alter the perception of a room. How can I correct people's perception of me? Rumors skewed my perception of him. Let's examine the perception of homeless people. His sudden anger only confirmed people's perception of him.
Permit. To allow. We will have a picnic if the weather permits. The city permitted the use of the abandoned building. The school normally permits visitors. His grandmother never permits strangers in the house. He finally permitted them to leave. She is not legally permitted to leave the country. Children are not permitted to play here. This is not permitted by law.
Permit. An official written document allowing someone to do something. The city issues permits by mail. You can apply for a parking permit at the front desk. My permit expired last month. You must have a permit to drive that truck. You need a permit to enter the building. A permit is required for all pet owners. I just renewed my hunting permit. Homeowners need a special permit to build swimming pools. I bought a temporary permit to park in this lot. Do you have a valid permit to park here? Are you a permit holder? I need to submit my permit application. You need a permit for parking. We can only go sailing with a boat permit. You cannot hunt without a permit. Access to the building is by permit only.
Pie. A type of dessert. A pastry dessert baked in the oven, filled with fruits. My mother bakes pies. Would you like another slice of pie? I like the pie filling. May I borrow a pie pan? I love apple pie. What's the fruit in that pie?
Plane. A flying vehicle with wings and one or two engines, also known as an airplane, a flat surface. She missed the plane. The plane flew through the sky. We took a plane to get there. The plane is about to take off. This plane is carrying 400 people. Who is flying the plane? The plane crashed. Did you buy your plane ticket yet? There was a plane crash on the news. The president has a private plane. We took a commercial plane. They shot down the fighter plane. The floor must be built on a level plane. We came here by plane. She was not on the plane. We sat in the plane for hours. Poem. An artistic piece of writing written in separate lines and has a repeated rhythm and sometimes rhymes. He writes poems. She read her poem to her family. They are publishing her poems. I like to read classic poems. She wrote a new poem. The poem is about summer. The poem is written in Chinese.
Presence. The act of being in a specific place, the area close to someone or something. She did not acknowledge his presence. He increased his presence at work. The test indicates the presence of the virus. Her mere presence bothers me. He had a commanding presence at work. There is growing presence of police in the area. He is a constant presence in my life. He has great stage presence. I was in the presence of greatness. I was nervous in her presence.
Proposal. A suggested idea or plan, a way of officially asking someone to marry you. The boss accepted his proposal. He withdrew his budget proposal. Let's discuss the new proposal. He made a proposal at the meeting. She developed a proposal for a new project. She received a marriage proposal. He submitted a formal proposal for the project. Her initial proposal was rejected. She accepted his marriage proposal. He submitted a new proposal for the budget. Provided. On the condition, with the understanding. I'll go with you, provided that you drive and pay. He'll get a bonus, provided that he finishes his project on time. I'll drive, provided that you help with gas money. I'll go, provided that you go too. I'll play, provided that you play too.
Qualify. To reach a certain level that gives you the ability to do something. He failed to qualify for the final competition. He automatically qualifies for free health care. She barely qualifies as a team leader. She qualified for the Olympics. She doesn't qualify as a citizen.
Quote. To repeat the words that were spoken or written by someone else. To give an estimated cost of something. You quoted the wrong source. She quotes scripture all the time. The author quoted the source directly. He quoted us a fair price. The author quoted her directly. She often quotes scripture. He is quoted below. She was accurately quoted as saying that. He often quotes from the Bible. He was quoted as saying that.
Quote. Spoken or written words, an estimated price, a punctuation mark for spoken words. That quote is from Shakespeare. The plumber gave us a quote. We got a quote from the contractor. That was a direct quote from the author. It's an anonymous quote. The salesman gave us a free quote. This quote is from the story. We received a quote for the repairs.
Realistic. Showing a true possibility. Showing things as they really are. The fight in the movie looks very realistic. Try to keep your goals realistic. The situation is becoming realistic. How can we make the scene more realistic? Do you have realistic plans? We don't have any realistic chances anymore. She is a very realistic person. His goals are fairly realistic. She is realistic enough to know that it won't work. The scene was incredibly realistic. You are not being realistic about this. You are not being very realistic in your goals.
Reception. A formal party. The act of greeting or welcoming. Radio or television signal. I was invited to her wedding reception. I had a small reception. They got a warm reception from the audience. We decorated the reception room. We went to their wedding reception. They threw their daughter a big reception. They were given a warm reception when they arrived. The album received good reception. The public reception to the movie was not favorable. Our television is getting poor reception. The radio reception in this area is poor. We had our wedding reception at a hotel. There was a warm reception for the visitors. The visitors were greeted with a warm reception. We had a good reception from critics. There was positive reception to the book.
Recover. To get better after an illness or a difficult situation. To get something back that was lost or stolen. He recovered his confidence. The economy is finally recovering. The acrobat recovered her balance. He was able to recover his losses. She fully recovered from her illness. They are recovering well after being lost in the cold overnight. I eventually recovered from the loss. He is recovering from the operation slowly. They never recovered their stolen items. She is recovering from the accident slowly. Replacement. A thing that takes the place of something else. I need a replacement filter. She is looking for a replacement. We have to hire a replacement. I need a replacement part for my car. What is the replacement cost? My father is having hip replacement surgery. Have you found a suitable replacement? We need complete replacement of the roof. He is her permanent replacement. She would be the ideal replacement. I got a hip replacement surgery. He is the replacement for me. This will work as a replacement.
Resolve. To settle a problem or disagreement. We tried to resolve the problem. We failed to resolve the dispute. We resolved the conflict. The conflict was peacefully resolved. The problem was resolved by the intervention of our pastors. The dispute was resolved with police intervention. We resolved the issue in court. Retire. To stop working at a job because you have reached a certain age. He plans to retire soon. She retired recently. I hope to retire comfortably. He has officially retired from